Welcome to the podcast for and about Colorado Springs. I'm your host, Brittany Felix, and every Monday through Friday I'll be talking about a different aspect relating to the Springs, including upcoming events, restaurant reviews, local business spotlights, media coverage about the Springs, public works projects, local activities, answering your questions about the city, and much, much more. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss any of the updates, and also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find links to all of those social media accounts at springspodcast.com/social media. The Colorado Springs podcast is proudly sponsored by Elevation Hydration. Elevation Hydration is the only hydration therapy clinic serving Colorado Springs, and they are dedicated to helping you elevate your life. They use intravenous vitamin therapy to help athletes needing a boost of energy or help recovering after a tough competition, people experiencing cold-like symptoms or dehydration from the flu, anyone needing to recover quickly from a rough night out. I'm looking at you, college kids. And just anyone wanting a healthy alternative to preventative care. They have a wide variety of hydration packages to help address whatever your needs are. They're conveniently located inside Lush Beauty Lounge at 812 Village Center Drive, and if you mention this podcast during your visit, you'll receive $10 off any hydration package. To learn more about Elevation Hydration or to schedule an appointment, visit springspodcast.com/hydrate. Welcome to episode 27 of the Colorado Springs podcast. Today, I am going to be talking about this city's love for breweries and beer. Colorado Springs, for being a relatively small city that's, still a decent size, actually has over 20 breweries. According to a particular website I'm going to mention here in a second, there's actually 26, with more popping up pretty frequently. So the website I just alluded to was actually the Colorado Springs Beer Map, which is a little side project of the Gazette, actually. And you can find this at csbeermap.com. I will link to it in the show notes for this episode. And I want to mention that they actually, when making this list, included some other places in Woodland Park and Divide. So it's really the Pikes Peak region that has about 26 breweries at the moment. But just to read through these real quick, they are Beer Works in Woodland Park, BJ's Restaurant Brew House, Bristol Brewing Company, CB and Potts Restaurant and Brewery, Colorado Mountain Brewery, which actually has multiple locations, Fieldhouse Brewing Company, Fossil Brewing Company, Gold Camp Brewing Company, Great Storm Brewing, Ice Cave Cider House in Monument, Ironbird Brewing, Jack's Brewing Company in Peyton, Manitou Brewing, obviously in Manitou Springs, Nano 108 Brewing Company, Paradox Beer Company in Divide, Peaks and Pines Brewery, Phantom Canyon Brewing, Pikes Peak Brewing Company in Monument, Red Leg Brewing, Rock Bottom Brewing, Rocky Mountain Brewing, Smiling Toad Brewery, Storybook Brewing, Trinity Brewing, Triple S Brewing Company, and Ute Pass Brewing Company in Woodland Park. So those are the 26 brewing companies in the Pikes Peak region. Now, if you have not heard of some of those, or you're new to town and you're kind of wondering where to start, I've got a couple of top brewery lists for you to help give you a little bit of an idea of the ones you should maybe check out first and then work your way to the others. So first, we actually have the top 10 best breweries in Colorado Springs according to the reviews and ratings on Yelp. And actually, number one on this list is one that was not in the list that I just read on the beer map. So again, like I said, these breweries are popping up all the time. So number one is actually Cerebus Brewing Company, and it is located at 702 West Colorado Avenue. It has 48 reviews and 4.5 stars. Number two is Storybook Brewing, which has 27 reviews and 4.5 stars. Number 3 is Red Leg Brewing Company, 72 reviews and 4.5 stars. Number 4 is Phantom Canyon with 611 views and 4 stars. Number 5 is Fieldhouse Brewing Company with 44 reviews and 4.5 stars. Number 6 is Bristol Brewing Company with 253 reviews and 4 stars. And by the way, this is the first one on my list to go check out personally because I have heard nothing but fantastic things. And number 7 is Great Storm Brewing with 52 reviews and 4.5 stars. Number 8 is Fossil Craft Beer Company with 24 reviews and 4.5 stars. Number 9 is Smiling Toad Brewing Company with 38 reviews and 4.5 stars. And number 10 is Whistle Pig Brewing Company with 28 reviews and 3 stars. Whistle Pig is actually second on my list to try out. They were one of the vendors at a bridal showcase that I went to recently, and they were handing out samples and they were to die for. So I absolutely cannot wait to go and try out some of the food and the beers that they have. I should mention that the samples was actually food. They were not handing out alcohol. And the Gazette actually posted their own top 5 list. And this one switches it up a little bit. They actually have Whistle Pig Brewing in the number 1 spot. And number 2, they have Cogstone Brewing Company, LLC, which I don't think was mentioned on that beer map either. Number 3 is Peaks and Pines Brewery, where it says you can expect to find 6 beers on tap and seasonal beers also available. True to its name, the brewery's tables will be made with beetle-killed trees. Number 4 is Triple S Brewing Company. And it says here that their goal is to blend the coffee shops of America and the pubs of England into one cool place. Number 5 is Storybook Brewing, and they actually included a bonus brewery of Pikes Peak Brewing Company. And one other thing that I want to mention that I think is possibly the coolest resource for breweries here in Colorado Springs is surprisingly, but although I guess maybe not surprisingly, on the Visit Colorado Springs website, so the tourism website at visitcos.com. I'm going to have a link to it in the show notes, but it's actually a brewery tour, which they're not setting up a tour for you. That's not what I mean. But they have organized the breweries by geographic location so that you can know kind of what's near each other and easily plan out a tour or a crawl of your own. So they have it organized by North Colorado Springs, which has 7 breweries. And then downtown Colorado Springs, which has 8 breweries. Then East Colorado Springs, which has 5 breweries. And West Colorado Springs, which has 5 breweries as well. And as a bonus, they've also thrown in the breweries in Woodland Park, which there are 3 of, and a brewery in Florence as well. And the cool thing about what they do, obviously they have their address, but they also tell you whether or not they have a full menu, what their must-try pint is, so basically what they're known for, and then it also links to their website so that you can learn more about them. So if you're going to check out any of these resources, I recommend that it is this brewery tour page on Visit COS, and I will have a link to that in the show notes. You can find links to all of the articles that I've mentioned today at springspodcast.com/027, and again, those are the actual numbers, 027. And maybe you can plan your own brewery tour. That is actually going to wrap it up for today. I just wanted to touch base on these to make sure that everyone's aware of all of the amazing breweries that we have very close by. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you back here tomorrow for yet another episode.